Hello, everyone. I'm gonna be going over a classwork for Wednesday. So just in case you don't understand it, I'm gonna go over it. The classwork for this Wednesday was on inverse operations. So there are notes right here for you to view. There's also a video here for you that shows you how to do it, just in case this video isn't helpful enough. There's another video right here which is a review, and then you could also practice this without having to worry about getting it wrong on the practice right here, which is Khan Academy problems. And also, in case you don't understand how to do it, they give you hints and tips on how to solve it. And then once you're done with this, once you have a good feeling that you know what to do, then you have the classwork that you have to do. So the classwork is basically you just doing the inverse operation for addition and subtraction. And I'm gonna be going over it right over here. So first of all, what does an inverse operation mean? Inverse operation means opposite operation. That's basically what it means. Whatever operation you see in the problem, you're gonna have to do the opposite operation. So what's the opposite of addition? The opposite of addition is subtraction. What is the opposite of subtraction? The opposite of subtraction is addition. That's why I have this arrow going both ways, because they're opposite. So opposite of addition is subtraction. Opposite of subtraction is addition. Now over here, I have multiplication and division. The opposite of multiplication is division, and the opposite of division is multiplication. So whenever you see it's a inverse operation, you have to remember that means opposite operation. So let's look at the first problem. The first problem is s plus 20 equals 30. So right here, the first step is you need to do is you need to be able to leave this variable s on its own. And by mean on its own, equations, right here, this is your equation. Equations are split into two sides. You have your right side, which is right here, the right side of the equation sign, of the equal sign, and then you have your left side right here. See? You could think of the equal sign as the middle point. So what you need to do is you need to get this s, your variable, alone on the left side. So you need to get s alone on this side right here. So what is not allowing you to have s alone? What's not allowing you to have s alone is this plus 20, or in other words, positive 20. That's what you need to get rid of. And how you're going to get rid of it is using the inverse operation. So if this is positive 20, what is the inverse? What is the inverse? What is the opposite of positive 20? If you were to go on a number line, positive 20, what would be the direct opposite of positive 20? And if you're thinking negative 20, you are correct. The opposite of positive 20 is negative 20. In other words, the inverse operation of plus is minus, and in order to get rid of the 20, you need to use 20. Because positive 20 and negative 20 is going to give you 0. They're going to cancel out. Plus 20 minus 20 is 0 and 0. And then the rule that I always tell you guys is what you do to one side, you need to do to the other. So if I did minus 20 right here on this left side, I need to do minus 20 on the right side. So what am I going to get left over? 30 minus 20 is 10. So your answer ends up being S is going to stay the same because you didn't do anything. So S. And then this plus 20 minus 20 got 0. So that means it's gone. Your equal sign is still there, equals. And then what did you end up on the right side? 30 minus 20 is 10. And that's all you guys have to do, y'all. Inverse operations. All right. So let's go on to the next one. The next one is W minus 10 equals 10. So again, we have to look at the operation. What operation do we have right now? We have minus. What is the inverse? What is the opposite operation? So the opposite of minus is addition. So in this case, you are going to be adding 10. In this case, we're adding 10. And why am I adding 10? Why I'm not adding 9, 12, 13? The reason I'm adding 10 is because I want to get rid of this 10. I don't want to change it. I don't want to create another number. I just want to get rid of it. I want to get 0, get rid of it. So minus 10 plus 10 is going to give me 0 because they cancel each other out. Minus 10 plus 10 cancels each other's out. It's like negative 10 plus 10. They become 0. And then we have to remember what you do to one side, you do to the other side. So you have to add 10 to your other side because again, we are trying to get this W by itself. So we did that by getting rid of negative 10 with positive 10. And then what we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So that's going to give us 20. So your answer ends up being W because that's the variable that we didn't touch. Your minus 10 plus 10, they cancel out, so that's gone. Your equal sign is going to be there because we haven't done anything to it. And then your 10 changes into 20 because we added the 10 to the other side. So W equals 20. That's the answer. And if you were to plug 20 into your main equation, you would make it true. So if you were to plug in 20 where that W is, it would be 20 minus 10, and 20 minus 10 is actually 10. So as you can see, the equation comes out to be true. All right, so this next problem is going to be a little bit trickier. This next problem, as you can see, the number negative 23, your variable is in the middle instead of in the front. And at the end of the equation, instead of having a positive, you have a negative. So just in case you forgot how to work with positive and negative numbers, I wrote some of the hints right here. So not negative and positive numbers. When they have the same sign, so that means that they're both positive or they're both negative. Again, same sign. That means they are the same. When they are the same sign, you're going to be adding them together. I'll show you guys right now in a little bit. When there are different signs, so that means if it's a positive and a negative, that's two different sides, positive and then a negative, you're going to be subtracting. All right, so let's look over here. Let's solve this problem, and I'm going to bring this into the explanation in a little bit. So same thing here. You need to get variable C by itself. So that means 23 is the number that's not allowing C to be by itself on the left side. So what can you do to get rid of minus 23? What are you going to do? Again, we have to think about it. Look, it has a minus in front. What is the opposite of minus? The opposite of minus is plus. So we're going to be adding here because that's the inverse operation. That's the opposite. Now, what are we going to be adding by? Again, we don't want to make this bigger. We don't want to make this smaller. We just want to get rid of it. We want zeros. So the opposite of negative 23, just like I showed you in the number line earlier, is going to be positive. And we already have that positive sign there. So that's positive 23. So minus 23 plus 23 is going to give you 0. That's exactly what we want. And you always have to remember the rule. What we do to one side, we do to the other. So we're going to have to do plus 23. All right, so here's the trick. We have a minus 20 and plus 23. As you can see, this is minus, the other one is plus. So is that same sign or is that different sign? Minus and plus, same sign or different? Give me a moment. And if you answer they are different, you are correct. One is a negative, one is a positive. So you're going to be subtracting. So what I want you to do is rewrite this. You're always going to put the bigger number on top. You're always going to put the bigger number on top. Bigger number on top and keep sign of bigger number. So I'm going to have you guys rewrite this to have the bigger number on top, 23, and then you're subtracting because remember there are different signs, so you're going to be subtracting 23 minus 20. So 23 minus 20 is going to be 3. Now here's the biggest point for this. What sign are you going to keep? Are you going to keep the positive or are you going to keep the negative? So we already did different signs subtracting. Yep, that's exactly what we're doing. Different signs subtract. Bigger number on top. Exactly. I have 23 on top. Keep sign of bigger number. So you're going to keep the sign of the bigger number. So in this case, 23 is the bigger number. You're going to ignore these signs. You're going to ignore the signs. You're just going to think normally. Is 20 or 23 bigger? 23 is bigger. What sign does 23 have? It has a positive sign. So that means when I solve this problem, my answer is going to be positive 3. And that's all it is to it. When you're doing a problem that has the same sign, so in this case, let's say, for example, you had a problem that had negative 24 and negative 10 equals, when you have a problem like this, when you have two negatives or two positives, you're going to be adding them and you're going to keep the sign. So in this case, they're both negative. So negative 24 and negative 10, you're going to be adding them. I know it looks like it's a minus sign right here in the middle, but you have to understand they're on the same team. They're both negative. So when they're on the same team, they're going to get bigger. So negative 24 and negative 10 is going to give you negative 34. And that's because when they're the same sign, instead of subtracting them, you're actually going to be adding them. And you're going to keep the sign. Both of them have negative, so the sign is going to be negative. Okay? Hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Again, make sure to show up to the virtual meetings. They're very important. I went over this during the virtual meeting. Those are the great opportunities for you to ask me while live on Zoom. So please do your best to show up to these virtual meetings. These videos are just supplemental videos to help you remember, just in case you might have forgot something in the virtual meetings, or maybe you messed up a little bit and you're kind of confused. But if you want better feedback and better attention on how to do this, or if you have some questions that you really want to be talked about, please show up to the virtual meetings. Okay. Also, if you don't have time, if you want more personal time, more help one-on-one, just let me know. We can set up a meeting time. All right. Hopefully this was helpful for y'all.